How does it feel to be a split second away from certain death? To stare down the barrel of a loaded gun on the most dangerous day of your life. Tonight, a trooper's pursuit of an armed man turns into a deadly standoff.
And you see on the front porch, muzzle blasts.
And a madman attacks Officer Brett Ashby, and he's forced to take him down.
The only way that this was going to end is if I ended it.
Later, Mike Wilbank's crisis in the pawn shop when he blows away a gun-toting gang.
Their plan ended when I came from the back and started shooting at them.
Real people in their own words.
He was completely out of control at this point. I thought he could kill me.
Revealed their most frightening moment. The day they faced their crisis point.
This guy's driving crazy.
Stephen Oliver is a state trooper with the Texas Highway Patrol.
I've been a trooper for 10 years. On August the 9th, 2005, I had one choice.
Hey, man, get back over here.
Survival.
A couple of hours into his shift, Trooper Oliver gets the call to join a high-speed pursuit of a pickup truck.
All right, get him up here. I need some help. These guys driving crazy.
Deputy Gibbons, deputy with the Denton County Sheriff's Office, was actually in pursuit of a vehicle traveling northbound on the loop. And I went south toward them.
Johnny, I'll be with him.
I made a U-turn and got behind the pursuit. It didn't take long before we were at speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour.
As the pursuit rages on, multiple units join in. Deputy James Gibbons is in first position. Oliver provides backup. The chase finally ends when the suspect returns to his own home and takes cover inside.
Hey, man, get back over here.
The other officers set up a perimeter.
I pulled in behind after Deputy Gibbons pulled in.
Officer Gibbons positions himself behind the fleeing truck. Then, the worst happens.
Shots were being fired. And you see on the front porch, muzzle blasts. You know that this has just turned from a potentially, hey, sir, turn around, put your hands behind your back, to a, hey, he's trying to kill me. I knew that I had a couple of options. One was to get a rifle, and one was to find more cover, and one was to go get Deputy Gibbons, who I had thought was injured, because at one minute I saw him, the next minute I didn't.
All units be advised, there's a possibility there's two daughters in this house.
I knew that I couldn't shoot directly at the trailer because I wasn't familiar with who was inside.
But with the threat of a downed officer, Oliver has to make his move.
No one likes to run toward the bullets. You're risking your own life, but you do it anyway, because that's what you have to do. That's what you need to do.
Oliver sprints to take cover behind the truck, but before he gets there, a bullet blasts him in the leg.
He had a lucky shot that ricocheted through his tailgate and into my left femur, shattering my bone. If someone takes a baseball bat and swings it as fast as they can at your thigh, it's about what it felt like. When I hit the ground, I was thinking, that bastard got me. God, it hurt so bad. I looked up and I saw Deputy Gibbons under the truck at that time. All I could see was feet, and the feet were not moving.
Oliver fears the worst.
He turned and looked at me with surprise on his face, and I asked him if he was okay, and he said, yeah, he was fine. But he wasn't aware that I'd been shot.
How bad is he bleeding?
I don't know how bad the injury is, so I tell myself, you're not gonna die because of this. You know that you have to survive because you got a family at home too that depends on you.
Oliver must refocus his attention back to the gunman.
If he shoots this time, I'm lighting him up. Ain't no lying to.
So then I scooted out some and looked past the tire. Every time I move, it hurts so bad. It's like 1,000 needles just sticking into one spot in my leg. While we were under there, I remember there were several other times where he came out shooting. He wasn't aiming, he was spraying.
Oliver is desperate to get to safety.
Yeah. Close to about that time, some more backup started showing up.
Go, go.
I knew that if we could pull some vehicle up behind the truck, that would give us concealment.
But reinforcements will also find themselves in the line of fire.
He's got a rifle. He's going to cut right through this like a hot knife through butter. Trust me.
They risked their own lives to do it.
Keep coming.
Another officer backed up to us and opened the door.
Hey, see if you can get him in the back seat. If you can get him in the back seat, and get him the hell out of here.
Gibbons jumps in the back seat to help.
My gun belt gets caught. I mean, it's not an easy process getting in here.
With his legs still out of the door, Oliver is raced down the road to a waiting ambulance. When the shooter stops talking to police, negotiations break down, and the cops take aim.
Somebody got a shot, take it.
A final round from the felon draws a lethal shot from a focused sniper rifle. Officers later learn the trailer was empty. No other lives are lost, but another is forever changed.
I was angry at him. For a whole year, I wasn't at work. Not only that, but I can't even get out of my chair and walk on my own. And my wife has to take care of me, my son.
Through all the pain and suffering, the now recovered Oliver knows he would do it all over again.
I will never forget August the 9th, 2005. There's not a single person in my county that doesn't know that if Trooper Oliver's out there with you, he's got your back.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
And I know that if I'm out there, they've got mine.
We got to get this trooper out of here. Yeah. Get the hell out of here.
Go. We're good, go.
Better talk to me. Come on.
Coming up, a deputy pulls over an old friend and discovers a meth-amped maniac.
He was completely out of control at this point. Thought he could kill me.
On Crisis Point.
Joe Stone is a deputy with the Nacogdoches County Sheriff's Office.
Nacogdoches, Texas is a small East Texas town where pretty much everyone knows everyone.
On June 19th, Deputy Stone pulls over an old friend, David Whitman,
Put your hands on the truck right here, David.
a man who's had past run-ins with the law.
I ain't done nothing, Joe.
David was very much a danger to himself, his wife, and his children. And I knew this was going bad.
But tonight, danger's headed right at Deputy Stone.
June 19th of 2006 was a typical night. I was out on routine patrol. I work nights, and we deal with a lot of disturbances, family violence calls.
Stone is on patrol all alone in a remote part of the county when he spots the town troublemaker.
527 County. I'm gonna be out here at the Whitten residence. Again, Mr. Whitten's back on scene.
David and his wife were going through a divorce. They had had some family violence issues. He was not supposed to be on the premises. I knew my backup was at least 15 or 20 minutes away.
Step out of the vehicle now. Put your hands right here. Put your hands on the truck right here, David.
I ain't done nothing, Joe.
I could tell David was on drugs. You could see it in his demeanor, in the way that he moved, the way he was talking.
I'm searching hard attack.
Put your hands on the truck.
I'm telling you, honest truth, Joe.
While looking for Whitman's driver's license, Deputy Stone
Get your ID in here.
finds a small bag of methamphetamine.
With you now.
Listen, what I do?
Give me your hands. You're under arrest.
For what?
For possession of a controlled substance.
I ain't, what are you talking about?
David, give me your hands.
Methamphetamine users tend to be very aggressive. They have just extreme strength.
When Whitman resists, Deputy Stone knows he has to take it to the next level. He blasts him with pepper spray.
Give up your hands, David.
Done nothing.
Whitman dives for the truck, reaching for a weapon, and tries shaking Stone away with a series of violent kicks.
David was completely out of control at this point, and I thought he could kill me.
Boy, something, I need help.
He got a leg over and floored the accelerator and took off while I was still holding. I knew holding on was not an option because I would be dragged. He went out in front of my patrol unit about 50 yards, spun around, and started back driving toward me like he was going to run me down.
Whitman swerves at the last minute, just missing the deputy. The madman disappears into the darkness.
I knew we were going to meet again. This was far from over. About 6 or 7 hours later, I was finishing up my shift, and we got the 911 call where Miss Whitten stated her husband was back at the residence again, causing problems. I cannot believe this guy's back out here at this house again, less than 6 or 7 hours after what had went on earlier in the night. And when I turned in the driveway, I saw his headlights come on, and he started heading straight toward me. I thought to myself, here we go again. I was already bracing myself that he was going to hit me. And at the last moment, he swerved to his right and drove out through the front yard between me and Deputy Rogers. At this point, David basically had nothing to lose.
527, we're in pursuit, 226 south.
It was early in the morning, and I was worried about school kids being out.
Nacogdoches works just passing the Woden School.
Speeds in excess of 85 miles an hour.
A high-speed pursuit is the most dangerous thing, in my opinion, a police officer deals with.
Subject's on the wrong side of the road again. Oh, we need to get this stopped, Sergeant.
Knowing he can't shake the deputies, Whitman turns down one of the worst roads in the county.
It's almost impassable. You could slide off the road or slide into a tree.
Fortunately, Whitman has driven right down a pass where another officer has set a trap. Spike strips now wait for the fleeing felon.
527, the vehicle has been spiked.
527, we're stopping.
With his vehicle disabled, this was do or die time.
Get on the ground right now! Get on the ground!
When David finally exited the vehicle, I was very scared, I'll be honest. I didn't know if he had went and got a handgun. I had no idea what he was up to.
Get on the ground!
I knew, and David knew, we were at the point of no return.
Get on
on the truck, David.
David had decided that he wasn't going to go to jail any other way. He was going to fight till the very last minute.
Thankfully, that's when backup arrives.
It took everything we had to take him down.
Quit resisting!
The three cops get their man when they tase him with 50,000 volts.
Thank you, brother.
David and I were friends, but at the same time, he was just out of control. It was a roller coaster of emotions. When you're making these decisions in real time and it's life or death, you react. That's how you handle them and you survive them.
Coming up, Officer Mike Selfridge cuffs a thug, then gets belted.
I saw black and then stars.
On Crisis Point.
Officer Mike Selfridge is a 21-year veteran with the Fairfield, Ohio Police Department.
I've had firearms pointed at me. I've been in some bad fights. I've been injured before. If you're going to enforce the law and arrest a bad guy, sometimes a bad guy doesn't play very nice.
But on June 7th, he lowered his guard for an instant and paid a terrible price.
This was the first call that I responded to that night. 2 officers were dispatched. It was just folks having an argument out in a parking lot.
When Officer Selfridge arrives, the situation appears to be contained. The arresting officer asks Selfridge to take custody of one of the suspects.
Do you mind holding on to him for me now?
His cop instincts are immediately on high alert.
The suspect wouldn't talk to me, which is an indicator of this guy isn't cooperating and he might do something stupid.
And something stupid is exactly what he does.
He looked over his right shoulder to look to see where exactly I was to him. And that's when he stomped on my foot.
Selfridge places the thug under arrest, but he's met with even more resistance.
First thing that went through my head is if this guy gets away from me, he's going to run forever. I just pulled him back toward me, and I thought that was going to be it. A lot of guys are all mouth, particularly when they're in front of their buddies.
But when the punk tries to escape a second time, Officer Selfridge is forced to play hardball.
When you make the decision to get physical with someone, it has to come quick, hard, and fast. I let all my weight fall down on top of his chest just to let him know, I'm here and you're not getting up. For a second, he didn't say a word, but then just came with the obscenities. The suspect cusses at you. It's kind of like the Charlie Brown teacher. It's just, you know, want, you just turn it off.
I didn't do anything. Well, you're going to jail, partner.
The perp is finally put in Selfridge's patrol car and on his way to the county jail.
I didn't do anything. Well, what did I do? I didn't stomp on your foot.
Yes, you did. And then he just suddenly stopped and just got real quiet for a couple of minutes and then started crying and apologized to me.
Having safely arrived in the booking room at police headquarters, Selfridge removes the man's handcuffs.
The reason that I took him out of cuffs and relaxed was 20-some years of instinct was telling me this guy's okay now. You stomped my foot, so that's what we're going to be charging you with tonight. You're also going to be charged with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. You understand the charges I placed against you? During the booking process, he actually complimented me on my takedown of him. He said that no one's ever taken him down like that before. We laughed about it. He was charged with assaulting a police officer, resisting arrest, and the original of disorderly conduct. I explained to him again he was going to jail, explained the charges to him. When I stood up, he stood up.
But Selfridge looks away for a brief moment. A moment that will cost him dearly.
That's when he sucker punched me. I saw black and then stars. It came out of the blue so suddenly and so violently. When the second blow hit me, I heard the words screaming at me, "Take me to jail now, MFer."
Take me to jail now, motherfucker.
That's when I knew that I was under attack.
Get on the ground!
I knew if I passed out that he could kill me. I was pissed at myself. I let my guard down. I let this guy hurt me bad. The blows were hard. I fell backwards, actually hit my head against the concrete wall. And I knew I had to get him. I was physically able to outmuscle him and spin him around and push him against the wall. I held him there for the sole purpose of regaining my wits.
That's when Selfridge decides he'll need the help of a taser.
Get on the ground!
I pushed off of him and pointed the taser at him. It hit its mark.
Stay on the ground! Stay on the ground!
But when the brawler attempts to get up, Selfridge is forced to hit him with a second blast.
Another officer came in the jail area and joined me and got his other arm.
The felon is looking at a minimum of 4 to 6 years in prison.
I was angry with myself for misreading him. I mean, there ain't no two ways about it. He pulled the wool over my eyes, just something that he planned. And he got me. I began to think about all the things that could have happened. He could have ended it for me that day. Everything that I know could have been gone. I never go into work thinking that this is going to be my last night. But this night could have been.
Coming up,
put your hands up on the vehicle.
A cop is hit with pepper spray. And things escalate into a full-scale gun battle.
The only way that this was going to end is if I ended it.
And later, a female cop's pullover.
Can I have you step out of the car?
Nearly kills her with a roadside dragging.
He hit the gas. He just took off.
On crisis point.
Brent Ashby is a corporal with the Dearborn, Michigan Police Department.
Step out of the vehicle.
I've been a police officer for 27 years.
Put your hands up on the vehicle.
And on July 19th, Officer Ashby faced the most challenging night of his life.
Get your hands up!
It's 2 a.m., and on a slow night like tonight, Ashby likes running license plates to look for those who might be running from the law.
License plates tell lots of stories about lots of people that they don't want people to know about.
Right away, Ashby spots something suspicious.
There's an older black van. Right away that pops back up as a stolen plate. I fall in behind that vehicle and I activate my emergency lights. My philosophy is when I turn those lights on, I've chose the place I want that person to stop his vehicle. And when they don't stop it there, I begin to think maybe something's wrong. Something's up.
Stop the vehicle!
Ashby yells to the driver.
Get your hands out the window where I can see them!
The van continues to roll. And Officer Ashby gets a gut feeling that he's not going to run, but is preparing for something far worse.
I approach the vehicle.
Suddenly, the man's hand disappears from sight.
I begin to believe that he must have something in his hand that he doesn't want me to know about.
Step out of the vehicle! Put your hands on the side of the vehicle for me, please.
What'd you pull me over for?
Because this plate doesn't belong on this vehicle.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Put your hands on the side of the vehicle.
At this point, he walks directly to the back of his van. I was hoping to get his hands up on the van so I could search him, but he had other motives.
The driver refuses to comply, and Ashby knows something is horribly wrong.
Get your hands up!
He comes back up and he sprays pepper spray at me. I was just lucky enough, as he sprayed, the wind blew across us.
The suspect makes a run for it. Ashby makes his way to the open door, where he gets a second blast of the debilitating spray.
Sometimes you get hit directly in the eyes and you're blind. I did get a little bit in my eyes, but I could still see him. I knew it wasn't going to end with a pepper spray.
The madman opens fire. Ashby is forced to retaliate.
As I backed away, I can see him digging for whatever he's digging for. I believe he's looking for some kind of weapon.
Within seconds, he's firing shots at Corporal Ashby.
I saw the flash. He fires several rounds through that door at me.
The first round of bullets have narrowly missed their target. But before the crazed gunman can fire again, Ashby takes aim.
When he popped back up into the window, I brought my gun up to my eye. I aimed that weapon through the windshield. I discharged my firearm with the only round that hit him.
Ashby's round smashes through the van's windshield and takes the perp down with deadly accuracy.
He spun around, said, "Help me, I'm shot," and he disappeared out of sight. At that point, I called for help. By the time I got to the front of the van, another officer was approaching from the back of the van.
Sir, get your hands out where I can see them!
The suspect was laying face down with his hands underneath him.
The assailant was on parole for prior gun convictions, and authorities suspect it's a case of suicide by cop.
People like that, sometimes they don't want to go back to prison, and they'll do whatever it takes to stay out of prison.
Get your hands up!
That night will be etched in my mind forever, and I'm just fortunate that I was able to go home and survive for another day. I really believe he was so intent on what he was doing that I could have put my gun right on his head and told him to stop doing what he was doing, and he wasn't going to stop. The only way that this was going to end is if I ended it.
Coming up,
Don't move, y'all gonna die.
robbers hold pawn shop clerks at point-blank range. But they're not going down without a fight.
My emotions changed from fear to being pissed off.
On Crisis Point.
All right, well, you guys get ready to close.
Mike Wilbanks is the owner of Joe's Pawn Shop in Oklahoma City.
On February 19th, one of my worst nightmares came true. 3 armed men came in with guns and threatened to kill my employees.
Don't move, y'all niggas gonna die. Give me them cash. Hurry up, get all that. Give me all of it, hurry up. Hey, y'all, come on now.
Good. All right. Well, you guys get ready to close.
Mike's day is ending at the pawn shop.
It was a typical day. I was finishing up some emails, and I had no idea that things were getting ready to change for the worse.
It takes only an instant. Gunmen break into Mike's store.
Stick off. Give me them cash. Hurry. get all this, get all of it, Robert. Oh, you got plans? Don't move, y'all niggas gonna die.
I was waiting for the employees to lock the doors up and tell me, hey, we're ready to go. And one of my employees burst into my office and said, Mike, we're being robbed. When I first realized that this nightmare was coming true, I thought maybe I could just go to the back and hide. But then I realized I have an obligation to my employees to help make sure they go home to their families at night. And I decided that I've got a gun and I've got to do something about this to protect them.
Mike can see each of the three robbers. One with a gun.
Hey, y'all!
The other two looting his jewelry cases. Mike springs into action.
I pushed a silent alarm button that notified the police that we were being robbed. We have prepared for robbery in many different ways. We have panic buttons, we have guns all over the shop.
With a loaded 9mm in their faces, Mike's staff can't reach for their guns. Their secret weapon is in the back room. Mike.
They had given the robber the money. He was still waving the gun around and threatening to kill them. My emotions changed from fear to being pissed off.
Mike reaches for his .45, but is in for a cruel surprise.
And the holster was empty. My heart just sank because I realized this is happening and I don't even have a gun to defend myself. But then, thank God, I realized that I had another gun and I was able to retrieve it. I decided that I can't leave them out there with this thing that's happening. They're expecting me to protect them.
Out of sight from the crooks, Mike raises his gun and takes aim.
I could see that the manager had stepped behind the shelves, so he was out of the line of fire. I was very conscious to make sure that it was a safe shot before I took it.
Mike turns the tables on the bandits.
I started firing on the main robber that was threatening my employees and taking the cash. I saw this kind of red mist come out.
With Mike blasting rounds into the gunman, the two accomplices run to his aid. Mike's outmanned, 3-1.
I'm assuming that they all have guns and they're ready to return fire on me, and I'm just spraying bullets at them as fast as I can and hoping that I'm gonna get the upper hand. It was hard to see through all the smoke, but I still ended up hitting 2 of the guys with 3 of the rounds. As soon as they started feeling rounds impact them, I think all they could think about was, I gotta get out of here.
The 3 crooks beat a hasty retreat.
It felt really good to turn the tables on him and to go from being a victim to somebody that is now in control of the situation. When it was all done, I remember looking down at my hand, and my hand is just shaking uncontrollably. And I think that's when I became flooded with the emotion of what had just happened. I realized that I came close to being killed there. This thing could have had a lot worse outcome. And I called my wife, and I don't know why, but the first thing I thought about was I had to tell her that I couldn't pick up our daughter from basketball practice, and that I had just shot 3 people. I think that when I heard my wife's voice on the phone, that I felt like I came really close to not seeing my family again.
Street toughs of the neighborhood know that just because Joe's pawn shop has a cash register, they aren't a simple target.
All 3 robbers were caught when they showed up at the emergency room wearing my bullets, and they faced charges of felony armed robbery. Now we have a reputation that if you come in and rob our store, that we're not going down without a fight.
Get all this mom out.
Coming up, a deputy's traffic stop turns into sheer terror.
At that point, I'm thinking I'm not going to get home to my family.
On Crisis Point.
Deputy Jennifer Mueller is a 6-year veteran with the Glencoe, Minnesota Sheriff's Office.
Glencoe, Minnesota is rural Minnesota. It's just your small town USA is pretty much what I would consider it. In our job, anything can happen at any time.
June 18th
Can I have you step out of the car?
proved to be the most dangerous day of her life.
Get out of the car! Stop! Stop! Being a canine officer is by far the greatest job you can ever have. My partner is Jake. He is my protector, and and he won't let anybody or anything try and hurt me. All right, you stay safe. June 18th was a normal patrol day for me. You watching, buddy? It was business as usual, so really my shift had just started.
Deputy Mueller receives a dispatch.
ATL pickup and hold on domestic assault on a vehicle heading eastbound 212.
A man wanted for domestic assault has been spotted on a nearby highway.
I was maybe a block off of Highway 212, so I was like, all right, I'll go just, jaunt down there and see if I just happen to see it go by.
We're set to be driving for 97 GMC Tan T15.
What do you see? Just sat and watched cars go by, and then all of a sudden, yep, there it went.
With the bad guy in sight, Deputy Mueller radios for backup.
I have that vehicle here, eastbound. Check for it.
Chances are this won't be a simple stop. Domestic assault guarantees this guy is going to jail.
The vehicle didn't pull over right away. Eventually did pull to the side of the road. I do know that he assaulted a woman, 20 minutes ago. But I know that if things were to go south or go bad, I have an 85-pound backup that if anybody gets near me, there won't be a problem. When I walked up to the car and made contact with the driver, I asked him to turn off his vehicle.
Can you turn off the car for me?
Which he did.
I'm not being stopped.
Immediately he was like, why'd you stop me? I wasn't speeding.
No, you weren't speeding. I was instructed to stop the vehicle and
You could tell that he was angry, he was agitated, he was irritated. He was just unnerved.
As soon as I get the driver's license, and then we'll talk about it.
A quick look at the driver's license confirms that Deputy Mueller has her man.
We'll talk about it as soon as you're out of the car.
The thug won't listen to Deputy Mueller.
He kept asking, why do you want me to get out of the car? What is this in regards to?
Rendell County wanted you stopped, so.
And usually when you're dealing with that, it's just like, this isn't gonna go right.
12-17-100, you can put me out at 12-11 if you want to let Renville know we're out with it.
I see one of my backup officers come back me up. Again, I just keep trying to get him to come out of the car, get out of the car. The situation I could tell was escalating.
I'm not gonna ask you to come out of the car.
Deputy Mueller knows the situation is quickly growing out of control.
You're under arrest for domestic assault.
And at that point, he went to reach for the keys. And I opened the door and I reached in to try and stop him from turning back on the vehicle, because I knew if he turned on that vehicle that we were going to have even larger problems.
The worst comes true. The suspect starts his engine.
And at the same point, he shut the door, pinning me in between the door and the door frame, and took off with me stuck in the middle. I almost so easily got sucked under his Suburban. At that point, I'm thinking I'm not gonna get home to my family. And I don't know if he just eventually let go of the door to where, I could push it out and drop or what happened. But eventually I was able to just kind of wiggle my way out and get to the ground. And I got drugged probably 30 feet. And I just kind of lay there. And I remember my body just shaking uncontrollably. My legs, my arms, everything is just shaking. I could have easily been run over.
Are you okay?
Remarkably, Deputy Mueller escaped serious injury.
I'm moving, legs, arms work, let's go. Sometimes my job is to put people in jail, and I wasn't gonna walk away and, job's not done, gotta go get them. I ran back to my car. Jake is going absolutely ballistic. I mean, he knows something's not right. He is just, let me at him, let me at him.
We're still eastbound, passing home.
He sped up to over 110 miles an hour.
1000, we have him stopped and taken.
I hear over on the radio that they have the vehicle stopped 2 miles from where this whole thing started. The suspect was already out of the vehicle when I pulled up. Jake's running faster than I can keep up because he wants a piece of this action.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Because he wouldn't follow our commands to get down on the ground. The suspect was tased, and he goes to the ground.
What started out as a misdemeanor turns into a felony and a 2-year prison sentence for fleeing from an officer.
After the incident, I should have ended up with scars and broken bones and something, but, for me to walk away from that, you can't ask for anything better than that. My job isn't always safe.
You're under arrest for domestic assault.
And sometimes you take those risks.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Stop!
But there's no way that I'm gonna let some other guy not make me get home to my family.
Stop! Stop!
These are the true life stories of people who survived their most terrifying.
No one likes to run toward the bullets. You do it anyway, because that's what you have to do.
Most dangerous.
Get on the ground!
I knew and David knew we were at the point of no return.
Most desperate moment.
Don't move, y'all gonna die.
You've just witnessed.
Hey, y'all!
Crisis Point.